Guys, how's it going? How you doing today? I'm going to show you how to fit a stainless steel exhaust system onto a Figaro. Now, firstly, I'm just going to tell you about the differences between an original system and a stainless exhaust system, and then I'm going to show you one that we put on a car and give you my best tips and tricks on how to make it easy for you to do it. So firstly, the difference. So the difference is that an original system or an aftermarket system is made from mild steel. Mild steel does this. So if you come in closely, you can see, now this exhaust is only a year and a bit old, and you can see it's rusting away. It's probably going to last a couple of years. The big thing with a stainless steel exhaust is that it will outlive, a good quality stainless steel exhaust like this one will outlive the car basically. So it's really important from that point. Also, you'll get better performance because it doesn't crunch on the corners when it's bent. It's easier to fit because it's made in pieces like this. And if you pair it up with a decat, then you get much improved performance and better sound. So in the long run, it saves you money, makes your car run better, and it also looks pretty cool because it will stay shiny as well. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the one on the car, and let's show you how to put this together and some great tips that I've got. Right, let's have a look at how we fit this. Let's start with the removal of the original exhaust. So the trick is with the original exhaust, you obviously need to remove the back half of it first. Now, the back half has to come over the axle of the car. If you're doing the job in the air, you can twist it round and it will pull down over the axle. If you're doing this job on the floor or just on some axle stands, you need to cut the old exhaust over here so it can be chucked away. The stainless one has got the adaptability that can be fitted on the floor, but if you're just taking this off and you're on the floor, you can cut it. To have done that, you will have needed to remove the two nuts in the middle so the back part can be chucked away. The second thing that you will do is remove the front part of the exhaust. Now, to do that, you'll need to undo these brackets here that hold the rubbers in place, that hold the center of the exhaust steady. You'll also need to remove this bracket here. So this bracket, you are going to reuse it. So if you just look at this bracket, you can see here, there's just a nut on the outside of it, probably a 12 or a 13 mil, depending on whether it's been on and off before. And you need to release that and just bend it open slightly. You're also going to reuse this heat shield or protective shield that goes on there. So remove that and put it to one side as well. Now, the next challenge you're going to have is that you need to just undo these two nuts here that hold onto the studs in the catalytic converter. Now, one of the trickiest parts of the whole job is this, and it's not because they're hard to get to, it's because they have a tendency to break. Now, two things that you can do there is you can either heat them up or you can change the cat as well, and I'll show you about that in a minute. But let's just move on to the fitting of the exhaust. So you're going to work with the new exhaust and take the steps and go backwards and fit each piece one after another. So the first thing you're going to do is put the front bend, this part of the exhaust, in place. Now, it will come in a kit with the gasket, so you put the gasket in place. The gasket will just fit over the studs, and then you'll put some exhaust paste around here. We'll have a look at that in a second. You'll put the brackets back on, put the protective shield back on, and then you'll have the front piece here ready for the next piece of pipe to just insert onto the top of it. So let's just have a look exactly on the bench how I'm going to do that. So what we need to do is make sure that we get some exhaust paste on every mating surface. This exhaust would probably seal because of the design of it, but we always put some paste on just to help it, just to give it a good fighting chance. This one is called Hylamar, but you could use heat resistant silicone, or there's loads of exhaust paste on the market, but this Hylamar one is a good one. We recommend it. So what you need to do is, like I say, make sure that it's on every surface and that it's continuous. So each time you slot one of these pipes together, come in a little bit and have a look. You've got your clamp, so you put your clamp in place, slot that over the wider end, the one with the two slots on, because you can see there it slightly gets bigger. Then you need to make sure you've got your paste on. So I just squirt a little bit of this on here, and then I would just run it around with my finger, and all I'm doing is just making sure that I've got a continuous bead. There's no point in having lots on one side and none on another, because you're trying to get a seal, a gas seal. Once that's in place, I'd simply slot the bigger piece over the top and then do the clamp up and just nip it up at this point in time. Right, once I've got the first pieces in place, it's time to start working my way down the car. So all this would be bolted up. You've got your high Lamari exhaust in place, and you've got your clamps just slightly nipped up. So again, I'd put sealer on this joint, put the next piece of pipe on there, and just nip that up. And I'd work the way right through till I got to the back at the tailpipe. Each time I'd be just adjusting it and tweaking it to make sure, like this one, that when you shake it, it doesn't hit anything at all. You don't get any rattling. But a great tip is that the reason I keep saying that you just nip them up is so when you're finished, you can take the car for a drive, check it, make sure there's no rattling and banging, and then tighten it right up for the final time so everything's in place. And that's it. It's as easy as that. One last tip that I want to give you. We talked about the bolts, the nuts at the front that come out of the catalytic converter. We have a fantastic product that completely complements this. And I'd personally recommend that you fit this at the same time as fitting the stainless. And that is a decap pipe. Now, there's a separate video somewhere on our channel or our page on fitting the decap pipe. But you're basically eliminating the problem with the bolts in the catalytic converter breaking. But more importantly, with this paired up with the exhaust, you're massively improving performance, efficiency, and fuel economy. They're a great set to fit together, a great pair of parts. So if you need any more advice from us, if you need any parts, just give us a shout. Cheers.